Okay, hello everybody. It's John again. It's at the about the end of October, and I decided today it's time to winterize the beehives. Uh, First thing I always like to do is, if you'll see here in my little bee yard, I went ahead and cut down all the flowers and everything we had growing around the beehives here. Hopefully by removing all the dead plants and flowers over the winter will help keep maybe some of the mice and other rodents that are around the beehives down. Uh, it's a sunny morning here. There is a small amount of activity in the beehive. Um, it may be about 55 or 60 right now. There is a few bees flying around. For the last couple of weeks, it's kind of things have slowed down, not much going on. I did put a little bit of pollen in this little pollen feeder here, and I noticed a minute ago there was a little bee inside getting some. I don't see anything in there at the moment. So I'd say they're just about done doing everything. I got a few little bees out here, a couple guard bees at the entrance since the morning sun is shining on them. The beehive over here also, it's got just a couple of bees there at the entrance. I've reduced the entrances down to one, and the next thing I'm going to do here is put a little bit of insulation board inside these hives, and I'll show you how I do that here. All right, I've opened up my hive here, and as you can see in here, we have insulation board that I have up on above the metal roof, and I have that on there just for the summertime to help keep the heat from reflecting down into the hive. And each end of the tops covers that I have for these hives is ventilated. So what I like to do in the wintertime is I've got this inch styrofoam board, and I put it in the cavity here, and that way I'll put that one in after I close it up so I can shut the lid. But I put these pieces of styrofoam in here, and then it will lay down tight onto the insulation and top bars, and I just feel like it will give the bees just a little bit more insulation. They always say the heat rises, and this here is a good way to keep the heat from going up and out the top of the hive, out the ventilation. And then I always have a piece of this 1/4 inch bubble wrap here that I lay down on the top bars. So when you do that and you close the hive, you've really got your 3/4 inch board, this, and then the inch insulation to help hold the heat in for the bees. And they say sometimes in these top bars, or all hives actually, you got to worry about moisture, because as the bees are eating in the wintertime, they're making moisture inside the hive, and it's hot there, hotter inside and cold out, and you always have condensation form where there's two different temperatures meet. So the way the bees work in this hive, it's not like the Langstroth or other hives where the heat can rise up into each cavity of the boxes. The heat here all just stays at one level. So I really feel like by putting this insulation on, closing the lid, and I'm going to put some insulation on the sides here, that it does help hold the heat in and keep it all at one level. Last year in this hive, I noticed just a tiny bit of moisture on one of my vents underneath here. When I opened it up in the spring, it looked like there had been just a little bit of moisture where if it did drain off of the hive and drip down the sides, it came into the little vents underneath here. So this year I thought I might try to put, this is basically a SOS pad, but I'll put a little bigger size of these pads in between my bottom board and the cover here for the ventilation holes, and I'll just squeeze that up, and this would allow, if there is any moisture inside there, that it could drip onto this and then come out, or the air could evaporate it outside the hive. Again, I said I really don't think moisture has been a big problem in these, and I've got a new hive over here, the beehive. Maybe I'll watch it this winter too and see what actually happens in it. So I'll put these inside the vent holes here, close them up. There'll be no air underneath. The only air coming into the hive will be the one hole that I've got in front. And let me think. Close them up, put the insulation boards on, insulation here. Really, that's about it then. I haven't opened the hive and pulled the bars apart since I took the hop guard out, which was at the beginning of October. So the bees then have had time to propolize everything shut. So this whole hive ought to be sealed tight where no air can come in, and the bees do that just to keep everything protected in a kind of in a honeycomb, or just to prevent any other moisture, etc., coming into the hive. So it's sealed pretty solid. It'd be tough right now to probably pull these bars up because you'd really have to pry them all apart, because they do try to close the hive up really tight for the winter. Let me see here. These boards, they basically then will fit in here. Like this. And what I do on this particular hive here, I might try to tie the boards in so that the wind doesn't blow them off. So I have this on the front and the back. On the front section here, since this hive has a way for mice maybe to climb up the legs or so, I put this little thing I got. It's a potato masher actually, and what I did was over the center hole, I stick this in here, and that's kind of my mouse guard. On my other hive, since it's at the very end, and it's got the metal legs, I'm really not sure that the mice will be able to get into that, so I'll check and I'll just watch it. Maybe, I don't know if it's necessary to put a mouse guard on it, but this here will go on the front of the hive. I'll go ahead and do that right now. Let me first close this up here. So that's sealed. The back is insulated. Now we'll go around to the front here and see if I can't get this put on. The bees may not like this, and I may end up having to put it on a cooler morning. But as you can see, here's the bees' hole. They're flying, they're around it. This little piece of insulation board will go right here, and then they can crawl in and out of the little potato masher here, and that'll be sealed up completely for winter. The A hive, it will be ready for winter. I'm going to wait and put this on a little later. I don't want to take a chance of smashing any of the bees here. Like I say, there is just a few flying around today, so we've got a few stragglers out. I don't believe they're finding much anything anymore. So I don't even think I really needed my veil today. They haven't even tried to attack me. So that's about it. Working with a hive this year has been a great experience. I've learned a lot of new things, having 2 hives now. I've enjoyed videoing and recording everything for future reference, and it's just been a very good year in the bee yard. I can't complain at all. Very blessed to have both of these hives. And like I say, I may, just for the heck of it, try to make a sea hive here this winter. It'll give me something to do when it's cold and snowy outside. So once again, I thank you so much for watching. This has been fun, and may God bless you the rest of the year, and have a happy new year.